What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, I'm going to give you a video on the best free agents who were cut or waived yesterday and where they should go. So if you guys are new, like, comment, subscribe, show all that love down below because I know these series don't really make that much and it takes a lot of time to build slide decks like this. So show some love. And then we also have links down in the description as well, including a TikTok. Yes, I sold my soul to the devil. Made a TikTok. It's actually really fun. A lot more work than I expected, but honestly, the community there is awesome. Feel free to show some love and show some support there. Starting off with, it's not really a numerical order, but the first guy we're talking about is Tyler Johnson. I've been a huge fan of him since Minnesota. Obviously, he was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think this guy has legitimate wide receiver 1 or at least wide receiver 2 potential, and he's shown it. He's flashed a lot, and I think he's an absolute beast. The Bears, obviously, they're having N'Keal Harry try to be an X receiver. We all know that Tyler Johnson's better than N'Keal Harry at this point. Speaking of N'Keal Harry, the team that drafted him, the Patriots, you're trying to get Devontae Parker to be something that he wasn't even when Miami was good. So, it's a little bit frustrating. Obviously, the Packers could definitely use him as a dynamic threat there with Christian Watson as well, Randall Cobb, Romeo Dubs. I think that could be a really good spot for him to go. The Lions, adding extra depth there would be awesome. There's a lot of really good spots for him to go. I could see the Texans being another one. Again, don't think the best spots too literally, just like those teams that really pop out to me as a team that could use him. But, Tyler Johnson's a really good player and deserves a spot on a roster. Next player we talk about, he was the big news yesterday, Alex Leatherwood. So, yeah, he was waived, and I'm going to give my quick thoughts on this because I posted a Raiders video yesterday. Literally, I made it the day before Leatherwood got released, but I don't really care if the regime's like, yeah, you're just not part of our vision. We're letting you go. Legitimately, it's offensive line, and there's not much of it in the NFL. I don't really understand why you take like an $8.5 million cap hit for it. And honestly, I'm not going to complain for the other teams because they're going to be able to snatch them up. A team that I actually want to mention here that didn't is the Cowboys. Obviously, Leatherwood, if I'm not mistaken, played left tackle there at Bama when Evan Neal was at right. So there is a potential for him to go in and slot in there or to play guard while Tyler Smith moves out to tackle. I mean, I just don't really get it. Even if he's not in your vision, he's good depth at the very least. The Titans, obviously, they've been looking for offensive line help for a hot minute, and even the Colts getting a true left tackle for the future might be able to suffice some issues that you were having. Let's go on to the next player, and that's Nick Kwiatkoski. Yeah, so he's released by the Falcons, which is weird because the Falcons could use some help after losing Foye Sadi-Aluakin, but Nick Kwiatkoski is a really good guy, or Kwiatkoski, excuse me. He's a really good player, and I just thought this picture was good of him. The Ravens, obviously, the Ravens and the Rams are both really good, regardless of their linebacker situation. Jordan Hicks is now gone from the Cardinals, so I think that'd be a really good addition to kind of take their game a little bit higher. Really good player as well. I don't really fully understand why he was released, but hey, it is the way it is. Next player is OJ Howard, and apparently, so I made this list yesterday, and Bengals already brought him in for a test. So it looks like the best spots seems to be legit. Obviously, the Bills are just that loaded where OJ Howard, even when he shows potential and shows some promise on the field, he's not good enough to keep. And, the Falcons, of course, you can just put him. It's always useful. You put Kyle Pitts on the outside, and then you can put OJ Howard in there. And then the Titans, honestly, I mean, Ferkser got released from the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. He was starting for the Titans for a time being last year. So I think OJ Howard's a great talent. I think that any team could honestly use him, but these three teams would be a spot where I'd really love to see him. Next, we have Wyatt Davis. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna see another third rounder from this team in a minute, but I thought it was a good pick at the time. You're getting offensive lineman. I wasn't very high on Wyatt Davis. I think I had a third or a fourth on him, so I didn't think it was an exact steal, but I thought it was a solid pick. I didn't think that getting rid of him would be the best idea because, again, offensive line is very sparse in the NFL. But teams like the Titans, and then the Cardinals, I was thinking about putting the Niners on here, teams that lack legitimate interior help, they could definitely use it. Even the Bills could get them in there because obviously they just got rid of Cody Ford. Buccaneers, they've had some injuries. So, developing him along with Sedarius Hutchinson is pretty solid option. But again, offensive line is very hard to come by in this league. So it's very surprising to see him get cut. Now, next is going to be a combo of two guys who I didn't even know they're the exact same weight. But from the Cowboys, it's Alec Lindstrom, and from the Niners, it was Donovan West. So obviously, I thought the Niners needed interior offensive line help. I thought Donovan West was going to start. It's surprised to me that he didn't even make it. He was my center 2 of the draft, which really isn't saying much. I didn't get to do a full eval on Jurgens, so he was probably going to be my center 2 when all was said and done. Regardless, both these guys deserve to be on a roster. There are teams like Ben Jones isn't getting any younger, and you can put Lindstrom at guard. Again, same thing for the Cards, where you don't even have Rodney. Oh, actually, they do have Rodney Hudson, but the guard spot's still potentially suspect. You could also get him as depth. And then, obviously the Browns don't even have a center, and JC Tretter retired. So that's a spot where I could definitely see some of these guys going to. Next, we have Jarrad Davis, who couldn't stick it to his team, who drafted him in the first round before. I think a team like the Patriots could kind of get the most out of him. He didn't perform that poorly, in my opinion. The Panthers, they develop linebackers. Honestly, not too shabby because you do have Jeremy Chin there. So I'm not saying that's indicative of that, but I think that the Panthers could use another player in that second layer of the defense. And again, of course, the Rams, they could always use help in that linebacking core. I love Ernest Jones, but I think Jarrad Davis would be a nice compliment. Next, we have Marlon Mack, the surprise cut from the Texans. Yeah, I mean, he is a really, really good back. I remember there was one time where people were like, the one player I do not want to tackle is Marlon Mack. So really good player, has a lot of potential. Steelers, they just got rid of Anthony McFarland. I think he'd be really good depth there. Chargers, they've just never had a legit RB core. They've pretty much had Austin Eckler since Melvin Gordon has had Austin Eckler and nothing. And then the Cards, you got rid of, oh no, I'm tripping. I have Sony Michel stuck in my head. Well, we could, of course, talk about Sony Michel. That was more of an obvious one. I wanted to go for a little bit less obvious on a lot of these guys. But Chase Edmonds was the guy I was thinking of. Marlon Mack would be a great compliment back, and I think he deserves some starting reps there. Next, we got Kevin Austin. I'm praying to God I didn't fuck that up. I think he did go to the Jaguars. But regardless, he could go to the Patriots, Packers, or Bears. Again, we talked about this earlier. It's a guy who had extremely good athleticism numbers for the combine, ran very well, and he has a great size to him. So the exact same size, actually, as Tyler Johnson. So that's that. We'll go to the next player, Kellen Mond. So again, he should go to a team that either can develop him well or basically can say, hey, you suck, but we suck, which is essentially the Seahawks. Seahawks don't really have much in that quarterback room. The Broncos, if he can learn from Russ, it might be a good thing. And then the Bears, he's a very similar style to Justin Fields, especially the way they play. So if you can somehow unlock Justin Fields, there might be a chance you can unlock Kellen Mond. And then next, we have LaMichael Pirine. We have one more after this. LaMichael Pirine, yeah, he was a draft crush of mine. Sucks to see him go, but the exact same reasons for the Steelers and Cardinals. Getting a true RB2 would be very good for them. And then the Texans, of course, losing out on, cutting Marlon Mack gives you pose to try to get a true RB2 in there. And then last, but certainly not least, we have Carson Strong. So yeah, it kind of sucks to see him not be able to make a team. I had, I think, a 4th or a 3rd round grade on him, and I was just trying to be polite. I thought that the injuries were a legitimate concern. Apparently, he just sucks in interviews, and he's not a very good locker room guy. That's not good. But I think teams like the Lions, the Cowboys don't even have a backup right now, so that's why I kind of put them on the list. But, the Lions as well as the Vikings have that more stationary quarterback that they've been able to succeed with. Tampa Bay, you can talk about it. I don't know, but that's going to be the list, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who should have been on this list. It's not an all-inclusive list. There was definitely a lot of players that got released yesterday, but these are the guys I wanted to highlight and where they should go. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.